Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Let's go back to working our way up the Shmup difficulty list, and let's stay with Taito for another game they published in the arcade. This is Gekirindan, which I hope I haven't butchered, but I very much think that I have. There is a US version of this machine, which I'm playing here, but that doesn't change the title, not one single bit, so here we go. I am playing as player 2, and there is a big reason why, and it's another general exploit which will pop up in a few other games. I say exploit, the dev put it there. I've chosen Type C, and that is a biplane piloted by two pixies. I would say more on the topic, but this game harks back to the 80s and in a good way. No, I don't mean the asteroids, those were the 70s and were never welcome. No, there is a big bad out there, waiting for us to overcome it. And here it is, might as well start the fight now. So the tactic is point blank, move back for the lasers, then go back to point blanking. One more, and he's gone. So I'm not using auto fire here, it's built in. Therefore the speed with which I took out that boss was intended. Who is called in this game, by the way? The huge boss. There are 6 ships in this game, but 3 are effectively palette swaps of the other 3. The ships are piloted by different manga characters, which somehow justifies them being more powerful or not than their counterpart. There is a sub-weapon here, and it's going to cycle through 3 options. I want the M, so I just have to wait for a little bit. Luckily the mini-boss is here to keep me occupied. And backwards I go, get the missile, and there we go. So this game came out on the Taito F3 system, and no bigger indication can be found than below. This spinning space colony. And this means it's sharing hardware with Darius Gaiden, Rayforce and Twin Cobra 2 that we might be seeing very shortly. So this C pickup here changes my weapon from normal shots to some kind of fire weapon, which sucks. Sometimes I avoid them, sometimes I pick them both up here since they cancel each other out, but from this point on I want to avoid them at all costs. So back to the original point, not all spaceships are created equal, so of the 3 player 2 ships, this is by far the strongest of them, and I'm going to show this right now with the first proper encounter with the boss. It's got 2 arms. I broke one of them, and now I'm going to point blank. Fun fact for this missile phase, if you stay right in front of him they will miss you. He is done, but not quite, so he's shooting little lasers at me. The boxing gloves are falling down there. And I just need to wait until, yep, he's flailing his arms. So we're going to do a Turtles in Time impression. The boss gets sucked into a mid-90s Microsoft Word art colour scheme. I should probably follow as well, although as he gets sucked into the toilet of time, what determines the direction of the swirl if there's no magnetism in space? Too advanced a discussion for a commentated shmup video. In the Japanese version, the twins would say something horrific. Localization in the 90s, folks, why translate when you can just remove it? Off to the next stage. Which far-flung time zone will we find ourselves in? 1942, we're doing Capcom. So, not only is the second player Type C the strongest ship available in this game, it also has a wide shot. And part of the reason I took the missiles is to make sure my range also has firepower, because I will need to weave from left to right to make sure all of them are taken care of. Simple stuff, yes. Here is the only C of this stage, so if I pick it up, it's going to make for a very interesting couple of minutes. Now, there is a difficulty with all of this firepower, and its visibility. All the ships have different shot types with different colours. My shots here are a little bit green at the front, but mostly yellow. The explosions are yellow. The shots coming at me are also yellow. This is a gentle introduction to the game, but because of the visibility, it's one where you have to pay attention to, or just constantly move around since the bullets are aimed right at you. Right, Giant Cannon is on fire still, there's a sub-boss coming up, and there is no collision with ground units. So, for this Ghost in the Shell spider tank, we're just going to go on top of it, and move along with it. And make sure not to get in the way of the fire, and it's done. So if I left it alive, it will go backwards, and then in each of these houses would be a point item. This is a clear run though, not a score run, like always. And I'm not a very patient person, also there is no incentive. There will be 1 single extra life available in the entirety of this game, and it won't appear for a long while yet. There was only 1 train on this choo-choo track, and I already destroyed it. Very sad days indeed. I don't think people appreciated the dramatic day-night cycles we had in the 40s. It was very hard to get the lights lit on time when the sun would go up and down, like it was on the Teletubbies. But night is here, the lights are on, the scene is set. Ladies and gentlemen, this is lasting long. Spotlights, please. Eventually. Come on. There we go, our boss is here. And the first phase is easy enough, point blank and move a bit downwards. to avoid hopefully this one single solitary fire shot, and it's done. Right, now it's more than possible to do this phase properly, go into the corner and then swoop down into the side. But instead I'm going to bomb, which gets rid of the side weapons. Then there's this generous gap for the main fire attack. He goes out of reach, but we continue with the fire. After a couple of more, he'll come back, point blank the tail, and we are done. Our huge boss didn't appear in this stage. Well, Dr. Robotnik didn't appear in every Sonic stage either. I guess we're going to have to try another time zone. Back in the Antarctic time warp zone, we go to count our medals. The pixies are still mute. They speak with bullets. Where next? Stormblade wasn't that long ago on this channel, so let's play that again. 1999, and this is the problem with the visibility in this stage. So many ships which immediately blow up, but there will be rare moments when one of them will get a shot off before they die. There are submarines, but I know by now just to get rid of them as quickly as possible. I'm at max power, so every power up now just gives me a point bonus, and here is a giant ship. I even got to R-Type or Thundercross or Mushihime-sama yet in this series, but this is a bit of a trope in shmups. Parts of a stage, or even the entirety of a stage, is replaced by a giant ship with many parts to destroy piece by piece, and this is why the spread nature of Type C is so important in conjunction with the missile sub-weapon. I should be able to deal with both sides of the main cannon at the same time. Thankfully this is not the whole stage though, just a large chunk of it. And here comes the last of the large cannons, slowly but surely, so I'd like to stay in front if possible. I don't want to accidentally slam into one of these jets though. And there we go. The whole ship has now been destroyed except for what lays underneath in the cargo. In order to occupy our time though, many squadrons of fighter jets are being sent to their doom. I was once convinced that they didn't actually die immediately, that I had to avoid the planes as they were burning before they blew up entirely. Could still be the case, but nowadays I just avoid everything. The ship below is shearing through an entire aircraft carrier, guessing the planes will probably stop now. Once again I'm avoiding the point items, safe in the knowledge that my final score will not be earth-shattering. Right, here comes a huge boss. Of course I'm not going to defeat him, so I'll just go to the right, and these helicopters are the start of something annoying. They'll fly past and then kind of linger behind me before trying to come for another attack, so ideally I want to get rid of them in the first approach, so I don't have to bother. It does mean that slamming into a chopper is completely possible, and has been done by me many times. I've changed my sub-weapon to napalm. It makes this boss coming up a little bit longer, but I need it for the next stage from the very beginning. The knowledgeable shmup heads among you probably recognise this napalm image, and probably guess where this team working for Taito came from. It'll become clearer in the next stage when I actually talk about it. Until then, the easiest boss in the game for this ship, power-up items in a convenient location, just a shame I don't need them. So yes, every easy boss. You just need to stay in front and every now and then avoid the two turrets behind. The mines probably do something if you get close, I wouldn't know though. And just a little bit more and we're done. 1999 has treated us well. Unfortunately, we need to go a little bit in the future now. The twins are still having the time of their lives though, and that's what counts at the end. 2373, and someone wants to shoot at me right away, and we're using sprite scaling. All the sprite scaling. Toaplan. That's right, this story again. Some went to Cave, some formed Takumi, some formed Gazelle, some went to Rising, some went to Tamsoft to make Battle Arena, Toshinden, and some made this. Taito had published many Toaplan games throughout the years, with shmups starting from Slap Fight, so a team of former Toaplan folks collaborated with Taito for this game. We're kind of getting a Truxton vibe here, and just a vibe though. One of the good things about formerly being part of Taito is that there's every chance you can get a Zuntata soundtrack. I like to think that is the aspiration of many indie shmup developers nowadays. Make a cult classic, get big enough, earn a Zuntata soundtrack. Who? Well, for newbies, Zuntata is largely thought of as the very first in-house band for a video game company. So if a Taito game needed a soundtrack, they go to Zuntata. And they made some pretty great soundtracks, just look at the later Darius games. Now, these planes are the same as the helicopters from the last stage, which is why I need napalm. A bit of bullet dodging, am I going to regret not using a bomb? No, we're fine, but it is starting to get a bit tricky. To finish up Zuntata chat, this is also a rather nice soundtrack. Alright, these enemies coming up, just stay in the middle and near the bottom. My app didn't want to scroll down that far for Zuntata, but I can sadly confirm this album is not on Spotify. Right, we are slowing down now. There are no enemies, or rather barely any enemies, so it must be time for a transition. Please note that not one of these pickup items is an actual power-up item, but it is the last chance to change to napalm, as you probably should. And this type of difficulty drives me mad, especially when there is a large hitbox at play. We are still at level 3 in terms of arcade game difficulty, and we're having to talk about Gradius Syndrome and the ability to recover. Right, the first boss of this stage, Bomb. Now he'll do a Hadouken. Oh no, I used 2 bombs. I bombed too early the first time. Oh well, he's done. And now I'm down to 1 bomb. That is not really ideal. So the large ship that's been following us this entire time is ready to make its appearance. And what is that up front? Missiles. Now, I'm going to try as hard as I can to do absolutely nothing, because I don't need to. These missiles comfortably go around me to the side. There's more than enough space for me to navigate, and as long as I stay ahead enough, they shouldn't touch me either. However, I have 1 bomb left, so let's use it. Right, that is taking care of the wings which shot out the lasers. Now it's fairly simple. Each time it shoots, I go slightly to the side. It shoots out rockets to the side. Should any survive to get close enough to me, that's where napalm again becomes useful. And so we're going to repeat this. There is an extra phase, depends on if I destroy the sides though. If I was not looking out for my lives, then I go to the side of it and annihilate the sides of my napalm. But despite the extra bomb use, this is a very good run so far, so I'm going to just sit back. Okay, we come to the next phase, mines, but it's short-lived because we are done here. And it's at this point I'm wondering when my next bomb use will be and if I can survive until then. I get extra points for bombs at the end of each stage, so I get nothing here. And so I said, Gradius Syndrome, that I seem to say on nearly every other video. When you die, you come back with nothing. This game gives a power-up or 2 though to make up for it, but it's a long climb back to your former glory. And fun fact, there are lasers underneath these panels, but because I'm on them, they won't come out. They're very shy. And they also don't shoot backwards, so I can just continue forwards. There'll be a few more plain things, but coming up on the side will be transport carriers. This is where the napalm shines. Again, no auto-fire modifications, this is all default. They'll alternate from side to side, and if they're given long enough, the shots can be troublesome, but they won't have that time. There is no collision because they're ground units, so I sit on top of them. If they open up the drawer, the contents get blown up as well. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen. Fire still rages strong. Okay, some of them got shots in. I've disappointed you all, my dear audience. That'll never happen again because we're nearly at the end of this section, and once this is cleared, we'll just move on to the next one and make it seem like nothing ever happened. We'll go on to another game, which is only easy if you don't lose a life, again, because recovery is such an awful thing, exacerbated by poor power placements. Why would I need this change item? If I die during the start of this stage, I'm stuffed, to put it nicely. So we have laser turrets that don't shoot unless they're in view. So one exists on the right hand side at this very moment, but nothing shoots at the moment until we swoop over. Imagine if they all fired at once. Oh yeah, and we also have some creepy things floating in from side to side, but now they're coming in from behind ground units, so no collision, and I have so much napalm. I'm surprised napalm has survived so long as a weapon, considering how it had historically been used. So for these cylinders coming up, I need to stay in the middle, not just for the napalm, but when you go back, the shots will miss you completely. And we can repeat this with the 2 on the left, although I don't think we'll be able to get close enough to use a napalm, and we can take out the lone survivor. Hey, we've got a power-up item. I still don't need it though, and here's a creepy guy that looks like he inspired the hunters in Halo. More future flying cyber ninjas and a bomb item. The second bomb item so far in this whole game, but more will come shortly. We've been given this bomb item for a reason though. There will be something big coming up, and that's why it's gone all very quiet. Except for me, I'm just pew-pewing into the void. Remember, center first, then sides. Okay, move to the center now, the laser is gone, my finger is on the bomb button ready, I have no bombs left, but I need to kill this guy. Last phase, getting in the napalm, and I have completely forgotten about that. Bomb away, because this is the extra life, and that extra life is very important, because as you can see, I came back with 3 extra bombs. I can only assume these ghastly things are being dragged through time by the large boss. As you can see, there is a gap before they fire a salve of bullets into my general direction, and this is not as bad as long as they come in 2s or 3s. I can point blank them quick enough. Okay, that was a little bit too close for comfort. Big hitbox, may I remind you. And now there are 6 of them. That may be a bit problematic, but bomb. That's fine though. It's not a bomb wasted, even though I have seen people just edge their way along the screen. There, I have now my bomb pickup. What about these hunters? Absolutely useless. They do nothing and we'll never see them again. Speaking of goodbyes, here comes the last of the laser turrets that need to be willed into existence. Right, oh no, we've got a couple more. And goodbye, my friends. We're in the final stretch now, and do you think the game will be nice to me and give me power-ups, assuming I would have died along this very long route? I don't have a sub-weapon anymore. Can I potentially get another one of those before the last boss? No? No? So that means during this stage, excluding my death, there was one single power-up item. Well, game, you deserve this. Typical Taito, the bullets will follow me when I cross the plane, but I'm just going to bomb. And then we're going to do another one? No, we're going to stay in front. Yep. Needed to time it with the green laser things. Okay, we have the second and last form. There is a safe spot to the side for the lasers, but I have no napalm to exploit it. This pattern will repeat when enough life is gone. It will add some green boomerang things in between the lasers. There they are. And I am dead. But you know what that means? Yeah, we're going to bomb spam. And it's done. So that means the game is done, and that means that was it. Gekirindan. It's an easy game using modern tools. I don't think I would have had the patience for this if I couldn't practice the later stages using save states. Lose a life at the wrong moment and it becomes a little bit too difficult to recover. Back to the past now, and here are my friends, the 6 ships in question, and off we go into the credits. There would be a Saturn version, only in Japan, which wasn't particularly well received. It does a rather strange thing where it places a vertical game in a horizontal resolution and the screen kind of scrolls up and down if you go to the top or the bottom. Has to be played to be believed, but the arcade version is immensely better. It also makes its way onto Taito Legends 2 for the PS2, which on paper sounds like an incredible collection. And we were entering in Powerland, a wonderful time when games had 60Hz mode. It was battered by reviews back in the day though. Right, looks like it's been done. Gekirindan, it's been a pleasure. I hope you get a re-release soon on anything other than Antstream, but until then, bye bye, and thank you everyone for watching this far. Thanks for being here. Until the next time, bye bye.